What else, guys? What else can I tell you about this hotel? Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brooke, for those of you who don't know me, and today I want to talk about Disneyland Good Neighbor Hotels. Disneyland Good Neighbor Hotels are the hotels that are around the Disneyland parks, but they are not the actual sanctioned Disneyland hotels. Bear with me today, guys. I think I'm getting sick, so I have my hot lemon water and I have my list on my phone, and I will be going down these great Good Neighbor budget hotels. They're excellent places to stay if you're just looking for a place to rest your head. One of the first hotels I started staying at regularly when I was a broke college student. Not too broke, I still went to Disneyland. The Clarion Hotel is less than a mile away from the park, and it is on Harbor Boulevard, so you just walk straight and it's on the same side of the street as the park, which I always prefer if I can get that. And it's the cheapest hotel you will find anywhere. I've liked it because it is a good budget hotel. The staff that work there are very nice, they're very pleasant. The hotel itself is kept up in the public areas. The rooms, however, are definitely dated. They're older. They have some cleanliness issues. I've never encountered anything like bed bugs or anything like that, but we did have a spot in one of our ceilings that kind of looked like mold, so we changed rooms. The bathrooms have some rusty grout kind of things around the faucets of the tub and areas like that. So it's not this beautiful, gorgeous experience hotel. It's just somewhere for you to lay your head at the end of the night after going to Disneyland for 16 hours. Their breakfast is actually pretty decent. I would not pay for it. I think it's $14 or $15 per person per day if you want to do their breakfast, but mine was included with the packages I always got at getawaytoday.com. I highly recommend that, by the way. It had eggs, it had like the waffle maker, it had fruit, bacon, sausage, biscuits and gravy, yogurt, oatmeal, like the standard free, extended free breakfast kind of items. And it was pretty decent. I have two experiences with the rooms. I have one really great experience that my husband and I had when I first took him. We booked a standard room, and when we checked in, they were like, "Oh, do you want an upgrade?" And I was like, "Yes, please." And they upgraded us to, I think, one of the top floors. I think it was the 8th floor, and it was considered a suite, which at the Clarion just means it's a little bit bigger. And it had a couch. It wasn't like, wow, this is amazing, but it was a nice sized room, and we got a view of the park. Now, a park view from the Clarion, because it is about a mile away, it's a half mile or a mile. I'll look that up and write it somewhere over here. But it was a decent view. You could see the World of Color lights. You couldn't like see anything else, but you could see the World of Color lights, and you could see the fireworks. So both of those were really cool to watch and kind of an extra element of Disney magic. With that said, I think the reason they upgraded us and the reason that room was available was because it wasn't finished. The closet doors weren't actually on a track. They were just leaning against the wall in the closet. Carpet felt like it hadn't been vacuumed in a while. There were some interesting bits and pieces, but we were, just excited to be there, so we enjoyed it and didn't really complain. That was my good experience with the Clarion Hotel rooms. My less good experience was partly my fault because I booked a double room, and for some reason, I just never think that a room is 2 double beds. I always think it's 2 queen beds. Even if I read double, my brain turns it into queens. So I booked 2 queen beds, and my husband and I were going with my best friend. And so my husband and I ended up sharing a double bed. And we have a large king bed, so we're spoiled already. And then you stick us in a double bed, and it was really, really cramped. I actually ended up hitting my forehead on the corner of the nightstand table in the middle of the room because I was on the edge so much because there was no space in the bed. It wasn't a bad experience. It was still a great place to rest your head at the end of the night, but that experience did end up deterring me from booking that hotel again because I realized they only have double beds. If you want a queen, it's a queen by itself or a king by itself, but if you want 2 beds in one room, it's double beds. The next hotel that we stayed at that was a Good Neighbor Hotel was the Springhill Suites. We stayed there when they first opened up. I went with my best friend and we stayed there and they had opened up maybe 3 months before we arrived, if that. It was really new. And I liked the location. They were right above Rite Aid, I believe. Either way, it was super convenient to have that just underneath. If you needed a bottle of water or a quick little souvenir or anything, you just ran downstairs and grabbed it. It was super convenient to have that right there. We got a free breakfast with every night that we were there. They had the waffle machine, they had the eggs and the bacon and all that. They had like a toaster and peanut butter and things like that. If you have kids, that would be a really good perk because you can feed them for cheap or for free at the hotel before you go to the park. So at least you get a little bit of a break for your wallet. Our room there was a decent room. The noise wasn't too bad. I believe we were on the back side of the hotel, and I specifically asked for that. We had gotten in on a very late flight. I think we checked in about 1 in the morning eventually on that trip. So I asked for a room that was away from any traffic. So we did not have any sort of Disney view, and I was okay with that. What I really wanted was sleep at that point. So the room was nice. The way we had it set up was you entered into the door, and on that side is like the communal living area / kids area. So it had 2 bunk beds against the wall where the door was, and then a couch and a desk opposite the couch, and then you had the bathroom in between, and then you had the room with the 2 queen beds. We had 2 queen beds for that visit, so I assume if you had a king, it'd be over on that side too. And it was a really nicely laid out room. The only thing I didn't like about it is it had a sliding barn style door for the bathroom, and it was really loud. There's no way to make that door quiet because of the way the latch works and because of the way the door rolls and the sounds of the wheels on the track. You can't make it quiet. So if that will be an issue for you, maybe don't stay there. The walk was closer than the Clarion. I think we only had to cross 2 lights, and it's on the same side as Disneyland. And like I said, I really appreciate when the hotel is on the same side of harbor as Disneyland. It's just one less crazy light to deal with. The next hotel I've stayed at is the Desert Palm Inn and Suites, I think it's called. It's actually right across the street from the Springhill Suites. Sorry, my throat's super dry today. Both great and excellent, and not so great in the same visit, and I'll explain why. Just to give them the fair benefit of the doubt, I was already kind of in a grouchy mood when we arrived. FYI, if you ever use Primetime Shuttle, run, because that's a whole other video. When we arrived, it was really late at night. I think, again, it was something like midnight or 1 in the morning. We typically fly down after a day at work. They made a big deal about saying, oh, we're upgrading you. We are upgrading you to a suite. And we were like, great, this is awesome, thank you. The second floor suite that we had wasn't actually a suite. What they did was book us in a room that I think they use as a suite to tell people it's a suite, but it's not really. It's just a really crappy room. I think it's way worse than their standard room. And you enter in this really strange little sitting area room. I'll include pictures because it's really hard to describe. And the sitting room has a window that goes out to the outdoors, and then it also has a window into the bedroom, but it's a giant frosted window that acts as a huge night light into the bedroom all night. Because you have the moon and you have the outdoor lights from the hotel just shining in to this room, and it was so bright. It was horrible. I had been suffering from insomnia for a couple of weeks when we started this trip, so I was not sleeping more than about 4 hours a night at this point. So having a giant frosted window that had no blinds, it had nothing, and the only blinds that were on the outside window were shutters, and shutters let in a lot of light. Something I learned on this trip. It was not a great room. That was not a good first night experience. So we slept the first night there, and then I went down in the next morning and told the front desk person that I could not sleep in that room. I had been suffering from insomnia. I needed something that was not, that didn't have a giant frosted night light pointing into the room. On top of that, in that first room, there was the bathroom area that the bathroom has a water closet where it has the toilet and the tub, and then past that is where the vanity is, and also an armoire. The armoire, I kid you not, was jammed into a corner so that only half of it would open. Like they shoved it between a wall and the wall it was against, and so the doors and the drawers on one side of the armoire couldn't open at all, like not even a little bit. It was comical, but not very useful. They did move us into an actual suite. The actual suite was very nice. It had a kitchenette, which I would use in a heartbeat. I mean, we didn't plan on using that, so we didn't go grocery shopping, but had I known we would have that, super handy. It had a stove, it had dishes, it had everything. It had a large-ish mini fridge. I mean, it wasn't one of the little tiny ones. It was the kind that are, you know, about 4.5, 5 feet tall. Super convenient, really liked it. It was a 1-bedroom suite, so it had the general family area, communal area, the bathroom, the kitchen, and the bedroom. Really, really liked it. I would highly recommend that. The only thing about that is they still only had shutters for the windows. These shutters block out no light whatsoever. Once the sun starts shining into the window, which in the summer is very early in the morning, you can't sleep. We ended up hanging extra blankets over the shutters so that we at least had some more light blocked out. So that's the one thing I would caution you about as far as the Desert Palm Hotel goes. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it was beneficial for you. I really appreciate staying at Disneyland on a budget because I like to spend my money on food and souvenirs and shows and would prefer to just stay in a cheaper hotel because I'm just resting there. I'm just resting my head. It's not anything that's part of the experience for me. So if you're anything like me, I hope this was helpful for you. I will be going down. We're planning our next trip for February. It's the end of February. I'm so excited. So I will let you know how our hotel works out for this upcoming trip. Until next time, I'll see you guys later. Bye. That sound is my husband using a saw. We bought a fixer-upper and this is a sound I've become very familiar with. Okay, now we're good.